connect together. Welcome everyone to World Smart City Expo 2022 Korea. World Smart City Expo 2022 is hosted by the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, and Transport and the Ministry of Science and ICT. It is overseen by Korea Land and Housing Corporation, K-Water, and Kintex. World Smart City Expo is the largest city event in the Asia-Pacific region, where governments, companies, and experts in the smart city field from all over the world come together to create a city of the future. It features a wide array of programs, including conferences, seminars, G2G programs, business-related events, and exhibitions, as well as side events open to public participation for industry professionals, national and local governments, public institution representatives, and more. World Smart City Expo 2022 will feature the following categories at the exhibition: Smart City and Infrastructure, Smart Transportation, Smart Energy and Environment, Smart Life and Healthcare, Smart Economy, Smart Government. Please join us as we interview keynote speakers and award recipients for the next 3 days here on the World Smart City on Air. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you soon. Welcome back, everyone. This is Suzelle. I'm here in the studio of World Smart City Expo 2022 Korea. Welcome back again. I would like to introduce to you Mr. Chris Sheldrick, who is a keynote speaker on Metaverse for the Special Topic Conference. He's also co-founder and CEO of What 3 Words, a new address system that identifies every 3 meters square with a unique combination of 3 words to solve the frustration of complex address system. Please welcome Mr. Chris Sheldrick. How are you doing?
Thanks so much, Suzelle. Great to be here.
Welcome to Korea. Have you been to Korea before, by the way?
Actually, I have. I think this is now about my 9th or 10th trip.
9th or 10th times
yeah,
you have visited Korea.
Obviously, during COVID, I didn't really come for a couple of years.
Sure.
But this year, 2022, this might be my 4th trip so far.
I see. Wow. So do you see any differences whenever you visit Korea?
I don't know. It's definitely different in the post-COVID world.
Sure.
But I feel like people are as welcoming as ever. It's great to be here at a live event at the World Smart Cities Expo. So this is kind of exciting to be back. And yeah, for me, I love Korea. So it's really fantastic.
Have you been to a World Smart City Expo before?
Actually, this is my first time here. I think at any event in Korea.
I see.
And honestly, the slickness of the whole thing and how efficient it is kind of blows my mind. And my colleagues who are here, we talked about it earlier. So it's pretty exciting to be here.
What do you think why you are chosen to be invited here?
I was really happy to be invited here. I mean, I think for What 3 Words, we're doing a lot around how we can think about the cities of tomorrow and about how precise location is going to play a part. So I can see exactly why the synergy makes sense, and I'm looking forward to giving my keynote tomorrow.
Okay, so just you mentioned that you are you will be speaking, right, as a keynote speaker at the special topic conference tomorrow on metaverse and future cities in the era of digital pioneering. So can you please give us a brief summary about that?
Yeah, so what I'm going to be speaking about mainly is what three words, our product.
Okay.
And for us, because we have divided the whole world into these 3-meter squares, we've named each one with 3 words, so random words, something like table, chair, spoon. It just means that anyone has a very simple way to talk about everywhere. And for a lot of the technologies of tomorrow that we're here to talk about, that's going to be autonomous cars, it's going to be drones, delivery robots. All of these pieces of technology are going to need a very simple way to talk about a location. You know, where is the drone going to land? Where is the delivery robot going to bring your lunch to the office? What 3-meter square? So what 3 words fits into all of these areas, and that is going to be the focus of my talk tomorrow, is kind of like, it's great that we have these pieces of hardware that are going to revolutionize our lives, but how are these going to work in practice? Probably the address system that we developed 200 years ago may not be the right solution. Perhaps something like what 3 words allows these things to really fly.
Okay, so you just showed me how it works, right, with your own cell phone, and I thought that was very interesting and amazing. The things that we are now to have. So the companies presenting tomorrow, including yours, they all have solved urban problems with technology. And can you elaborate more on how W3W, is that how supposed to call it that? W3W plans to scale and grow?
Sure. So what 3 words is really about adoption. Like, we've made this system where we take the latitudes and longitudes, the GPS coordinates, and we convert it into the 3 words. But a lot of our technology is therefore done. We do work on things like Korean voice recognition and other things to make it easier to use. But scaling for us is not so much about building more and more features, it's about getting more and more people to use the service. Now, the way a lot of Korean people have encountered what 3 words is they've downloaded the app and they do exactly what we did. They go, well, what's my office 3-word address? What's my home 3-word address? And they zoom in, they find the front door, the back door, you click the squares and you see the 3 words. Now for us, growth is about, yes, getting more people to use the application, but secondly, what other third-party applications can people use it with? So a really big partnership here for us in Korea is Kakao Map. They have built it in, so you can just long press on Kakao Map, press W3W, the 3 words show at the bottom. But for us, this is really important because Kakao Map is something that's pretty much on everybody's phone already. And we think it's really powerful to not have to download something new. Why can people not just use the apps that they use every day? So for growth for us means let's get into all of the other Korean navigation apps that people use every day, which we want to do. We want to get into all of the car navigation systems that people are used to. So growth just means, without thinking about it, going, can I use a 3-word address instead of a normal address if I want to be super precise?
I see. Okay, so the next question is that what are some of the ways to the W3W? Is that words 3 words?
What 3 words?
What 3 words?
That's
Excuse me. I know it's very simple and easy, but you know, in front of many people, it's not easy for me
it's
to
totally cool.
interview such a good celebrity just like you know. But yes, so what 3 words, right, can be used in any other like areas? What do you think?
Yeah. So I mean, I guess I just mentioned car navigation. This is a really important one. So in Korea, the first car where you can type the 3 words or speak the 3 words is Mercedes-Benz. So a lot of people don't know, if you go out there and buy a Mercedes-Benz, you can get in it and you can just tell the car, I want to navigate to word, word, word. It understands the 3 words and it will take you there. Now, not everybody drives a Mercedes. There's many other cars out there. and we are working really hard to get into a lot of them. I mean, globally, we have partnerships now, not just with Mercedes, but with Mitsubishi, Subaru, Lotus, Lamborghini, many others. But there are some which are really big in Korea that we're now focused on. So I think for car navigation, hopefully it's just one of those things that you just come to expect that What Three Words is available in your car. And then it can be really useful to people as a navigation tool, whether you're going, I don't know, hiking in the mountains, to the beach, going fishing. None of those destinations are going to have the address.
Even to the children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And picking up kids from soccer practice, or frankly finding the right entrance for this building today was quite challenging. It's a very big building. And to just specify that exact place. So the more you think about it, I think the more these use cases come to mind, especially around driving and navigation.
So Chris, then how you come up with this kind of ideas? You know, when I saw that your service, I thought it was a great idea, very easy and simple. Everyone can use it in any places, right? Even in the ocean as well, right? So I'm just wondering, like, personally, how you come up with this kind of all great idea? Like, where did you get this whole idea from?
I had the idea. So my background is actually in music. I'm a classical musician. I used to play the piano. And for 10 years, I worked organizing music events around the world. And so I'm not from maps and I'm not from tech. But just in my job for music, I was the person who had to organize a band to arrive at the back of the concert hall. And of course, if you type in the address for the concert hall, it takes you to the front door. But we always needed the back door. And so I'd always have everyone calling me up, going, Chris, I'm by a lamppost. I can't quite see where I'm meant to go. And so I tried to convince everybody to use the latitude and the longitude, you know, the GPS coordinates. But the musicians I work with were like, this is very complicated.
Very complicated. I also studied piano as well.
Right, okay, there you go. So you can with any performance, you always have to come in the side door, right?
So true.
And so people were like, Chris, can you just design a simpler system so that we can enter in the right place with all our equipment? And so this idea just kind of stayed with me for a while. And I thought, well, if musicians need a simple address system, there must be a lot of other people in the world who need a simple address system. And really, for those who are showing up somewhere new every day, there's so many people in the world. So this was kind of what got me thinking. And then I sat down with a friend of mine who is a mathematician, and I said, maybe we can make a formula to name every, 3 meters in the world with something unique. But it's got to be simple. It's got to be so simple that a kid to a grandparent can use it. And we threw some ideas around, and he said, well, what about like random words? And I was like, what, like table, chair, spoon, random? He's like, yeah, like table, chair, spoon. And
that's so random,
it is
by the way.
It's properly random, like banana, cupboard, saucepan, whatever it is. And we found there's enough combinations of 3 random words to fill each of the 57 trillion 3-meter squares in the world. So 57 trillion is 57,000 billion. It's a big number. A lot of 3-meter squares in the world, but there are enough combinations of 3 words to fill it. And as you said, we even do the oceans, but we put the super, super long words in the ocean, like hydraulics, dodecahedron, cryogenically. But here in Seoul, you're more likely to find regular words, table, chair, spoon, or something. So, and once we had that idea, I was just so taken with it. I'm kind of an impulsive person. And I thought, well, look, this works for my musicians. This works for my mum, who lives on a farm. No one can find her. And this felt like an idea that I should run with. So that's how the company was born.
I see. So tell me about your company then, about your business. In general?
Yeah, so back right from those early days, it was me and my mathematician friend. We added another friend who was a linguist, languages, because we do this whole system in 51 languages, not just English and Korean. And we've now grown over the last 9 years since we had the idea. We have 170 people, mainly based out of London. We have an office here in Seoul now, which I'm really excited about. And we are growing globally. It's one of those things that What Three Words is now very well known in the UK. If you know anyone British, ask them if they know what 3 words. I'm pretty sure they'll say yes. And we've managed to get that network effect going. And how we do that is we have, so the What 3 Words app is free to use. Anything for a normal person is free. But then we charge businesses to use the service. So I just mentioned Mercedes cars. They pay us a fee to have What 3 Words in every car. So the way that we grow the business is getting more people to use the free services, and that makes more valuable our business services that we license to others. So we kind of split our company in two. Half look at growing the consumer and half look at growing businesses.
Oh, I see. Well, you just told me about your company, and tell me about you as well, personal things. To all the viewers on YouTube
I guess
right now.
hopefully, I always think like if I could do this big career change from music into tech and maps, anybody can. I think it's often said that it's people from outside the industry who often are able to come and break the rules, if you like. Because some people look at what we do and they say, well, you know, if you're going to make a address system or a location system, you should follow these rules. And why hasn't What 3 Words followed these rules? But I think it's because we didn't even know what the rules were that we felt not afraid to break them. You know, it's often said that, for example, the guys who founded Airbnb, they were from outside of the hospitality industry. And again, they just developed a solution they thought was a good one. And it was kind of the same for me with What 3 Words. We just sat down, blank piece of paper, and went, how should we do this? And I guess I had I've always been a bit impulsive. Like I told you, I had this idea one night. I decided to set up a company. My story before that was a little bit similar. I graduated from the Royal Academy of Music in London playing the piano. And then right after graduating, I had a really unfortunate accident with my wrist. And then I was not able to use 2 of my fingers. So very impulsively, I was like, right, I can't be a musician anymore, even though I've trained all my life for it.
Then I know that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know how much we should put a lot of effort into it for practice, for performances.
Hours, days, weeks, months of practice. And then the doctors told me, yeah, you're not going to be able to use 2 of your fingers. You need to think of another career. So I thought, well, I know music, so I'm going to set up a business organizing music for events. And so at the time, it was really difficult and traumatic. But now looking back, I think, well, I would never have had the idea for What 3 Words if I hadn't had the accident, which took me down that career path. So I think I've always been a bit of an optimist, like whatever life throws at you, you just think, what can I make the best out of the situation? And the first time that was setting up my music business, and the second time that was setting up What 3 Words.
I think your story will help the people who put every effort into their business, you know, especially the startups. So I hope that that'll be really will be helpful for them as well. So the name, the What 3 Words, is that you made that name?
Yeah, I made that name with my 2 co-founders. It was made in like 5 minutes, very quickly, because we kind of thought to ourselves, you know, what are people going to say when they're going, oh, you know, I'm going to meet you, I'm going to meet you on the beach later. We thought people would say, you know, whoa, What 3 Words? And so it just kind of became this catchy thing which stuck. And as you say, you abbreviate it to W3W, and it's a nice thing, and it's just really stuck in people's minds. So
you guys thought a lot about it, like what to call.
We did, but it was one of those things that we thought a lot about it early on, and then we said, well, we'll use this for now. And then, of course, 9 years later, you're still using it because everybody liked it. But I think we also just wanted to get away from the normal words you associate with maps or locations, because we didn't want it to feel normal in that kind of way. We wanted people to think, this is something new and revolutionary, and therefore we were happy with the name being a little bit different, you know?
What do you expect from being here in World Smart Expo 2022, since you have been invited as a special guest?
Yeah, I'm incredibly honored to be invited as a special guest here. I think already, just today, I've met a lot of people from around the world who are working on the future of how cities are going to work. Just here in the Expo Center, seeing so many different cities within Korea that have all have got their own plans, from how they're going to do smart water treatments in some areas to the mobility systems, how people are looking after accessibility. I think this is very, very much pushing the frontiers of what is happening around the world, frankly, what I've seen today in Korea. And just to see each city with its own initiative, the enthusiasm from the people running these programs is incredible. So already I feel incredibly motivated, but I'm also looking at them going, God, you know, there's so much collaboration for us to work together, like delivery robots, the autonomous cars, how are they going to handle precise locations? So I've had a lot of conversations already with the people running these initiatives, these programs, and I'm sure I'll have many more tomorrow as well after my talk.
I see. Well, Chris, before we end this interview, will you please say a few words to all the viewers for the last?
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, I'm amazingly happy and pleased to be here. I would really encourage everybody to come down to World Smart Cities Expo. Come and see for yourself the kind of initiatives I've just talked about. It is a pretty special place here at Kintex, and many amazing booths and lots of amazing speakers. So it feels like a unique opportunity. I guess lastly, I'd say to people, actually download the What Three Words app, or go into Kakao Map, do a long press W3W, find your 3 words, come into our world of What Three Words a bit, and we would love to hear people's thoughts. We're really, really serious and dedicated to Korea and growing What Three Words here within Korea. So please do let us know. And I guess thank you for having me. Suzelle, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Well, we will end the interview and we'll be back soon. Welcome back, everyone. This is Giselle. I'm here in the studio of World Smart City Expo 2022, Korea. At this time, I would like to introduce you a special guest right now, right? Okay. So, Mr. Jason Schenker, chairman of Futurist Institute, and Mr. Schenker also shared with us the inspiring words on the forecast of smart cities this morning at the World Smart City Expo opening ceremony. He has been ranked as the top forecast in 46 categories by Bloomberg News, and he is the author of 15 #1 bestsellers, including The Future After COVID and Jobs for Robots and The Future of Finance is Now. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Giselle.
please welcome him. Hello.
Awesome. Hey, how's it going?
Doing good. How's Korea treating you so far?
Always good. It's always a pleasure. It's actually my third time in Korea in the last 12 months.
Wow.
So I'm excited to be here. I'm just excited to be here at the World Smart City Expo and seeing everyone, seeing all the people, seeing all like the cool automated devices and robots bopping around, drones everywhere. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Isn't it? So when was your last time visit Korea?
2 months ago.
2 months ago. Did you see any difference from back then?
Well, I was used to the clearing the airport part where you've got to, there's different paperwork you have to do and you have to do it in advance. So now that I'm used to that, it was a lot easier. And Otherwise, I think I feel like there's a lot more of a vibe. Like I feel people at this conference have just really been here to get out and see other people again.
True.
I mean, obviously this is a smart city expo, so people are, all about people, right? That's what cities are about, living with other humans, right? And so we're all kind of coming out of our post-COVID cocoons, and it's you could just feel it. This is a really electric event. Just a lot of people here, seeing some cool stuff, hanging out with each other, just really great.
So the World Smart City Expo, we have all the worldly leaders who is working in this smart city field area, right? Gathered together to create many things for the smart city in the future. And what do you think about the World Smart City Expo so far?
I think it's great. I think that it is, first of all, I want to say it is just really inspiring to see political leaders from across the spectrum coming in and supporting this kind of event to help Korea win the future. And I just find that really inspiring because technology and the success of the Korean economy and the long-term importance of Korea and technology on the viability of smart cities in the world stage, all of these things is just really impressive to see that. And I've seen this now at multiple conferences. You see folks from across the political spectrum coming together to really support Korea getting to that sort of next big tech thing. And I just think that's amazing. I also, of course, love drones and automated vehicles, robots, and all that other cool stuff. Like, who doesn't love that stuff, right?
Everyone loves it.
Everybody loves that stuff. There's like crazy-looking drones, and there's a self-driving car track. You can go in them, and there's other stuff to do. It's quite interactive, so that's pretty exciting. And the tech is coming together. You can see it, right? Like, we're nowhere near a full, comprehensive, integrated smart city right now, but all the building blocks are here. And you can see all it takes just a little bit of time. You can see everything kind of coming together.
That's right.
And I find that really cool, and just, again, robots and self-driving cars and drones and stuff. So what's not to love?
That's so true. Well, from your saying, I can see how much you're so enthusiastic to be here in the conference here with us. So you gave the speech title, Smart Cities Are the Future.
They
at
are.
the opening ceremony
I believe
today.
it. Yep.
You believe that?
Yeah, of course.
I'm
No,
sure.
smart cities are the future, right? Like, if we think about what's going on in the world today, some of the biggest problems are tied to a lack of resources, tight resource constraints, right? There's droughts all kinds of places right now. Water is becoming a bigger issue. We see it in Europe. We see it in the United States. We see it in China. We see it in countries all over the world. We see the commodity issues that have come out of the Russian war on Ukraine, these opening salvos of Cold War II, the high price of food, grain, oil, natural gas that have spun out of control, that have engendered massively high inflation across the planet and are putting central banks everywhere on a path of war footing. We see it from the Fed, where we had Fed Chair Powell just last week, really Churchillian statements about, the job is not done. Our job is to cut inflation back and, all these things. And you see Bank of Korea is going to have to follow suit. So we see this, all of that stemming from that Russian war on Ukraine, and all of it gets back to, wow, these are commodities and energy, and we need to be really careful about managing our resources because 30 years from now, there's going to be 2 billion more people on the planet and between 2 and 2.5 billion more people living in cities. And the most important thing, and this was kind of a key part of my remark this morning,
I was going to ask.
that I think perceived abundance is the most important thing we need to maintain to keep civil society stable. And I just think that's so important because we know that as the world grows, right, there's not enough energy, there's not enough water, there's not enough food. These are going to become bigger problems. No one wants to feel that risk on a daily basis. Technology is the only thing that keeps those demons at bay. And that's really the importance of smart cities.
So from the early this morning when you gave that talk, you have mentioned many things, so many great things. If you have to choose just one thing that you want people to remember, what would that be?
From my talk,
Yes.
I think it's perceived abundance. I think that's the thing. Like, you know, we think about, well, cities are going to get more crowded. There's going to be more people. Well, there's going to be more tech. What's the one thing we want? We want to know when we turn the faucet, there's water there. If we flip a switch, the light comes on.
Yeah.
If we go to the store, there's food. I realize these are super basic necessities. If we think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like this is the ultimate lowest level of Maslow's hierarchy, right? But the real kicker here is with more people, with higher urban density, those are not fait accompli. Like, we cannot just feel confident, oh yeah, it'll just work itself out. Not if we don't have all the right technology to more efficiently manage the resources. So it's about high levels of efficiency to foster perceived abundance so that people can live their happy lives. No one wants to live in that kind of fear of those issues. And there's a risk of that if we don't apply the right technology and streamline the way we live in urban environments.
So for that, we should work harder, right? To make that happen.
Well, I think that's right. You know, and it takes a lot of folks working harder.
True.
We see companies are investing. We see young people taking their time in startups. We see public-private partnerships. We see infrastructure investments. We see large ICT industries, industry players pushing into the space. There's a lot of political will, social will, capital being pushed in this direction. And there's a good reason for that, because sustainability is going to be a permanent watchword going forward. And so as people want to have things be sustained, i.e. their comfortable life in an urban environment with even more people living there, we have to manage the resources the right way. And that's why there's that push. And I think it presents a tremendous opportunity. If Korea is able to be a leader in this, as Korea is in other ICT industry areas, right? Then there's the potential to export these technologies, share these technologies, and increase the importance both of the economy and the companies, but also of Korea in general on the global stage. I think those are all really positive opportunities.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because you mentioned that the important role of Korea in the smart city field. So can you elaborate more on why Korea is like well positioned to contribute to the progress of smart cities?
Well, I think this is a lot about leaning into what already works, right? ICT products that come out of Korea are extremely well respected. They are best in class. Okay, now we're going to take on smart cities. We're going to pull this all together. We're going to create new products. We're going to export new solutions, whole new market of opportunities. What city is going to need to have a digital transformation in the next 50 years? I don't know, all of them. So if the solutions are developed here, something which, as you walk around, you feel quite confident about. If you do have those public-private partnerships that kind of push things really with a lot of will in the right direction, something that's been very successful really for the Korean economic miracle of the last 30 years. I think that presents a lot of upside. So there's a few different elements, right? That all of those ingredients are necessary, and I think they're here. And I'm inspired. So that's where we're at.
So tell me about one of the experience that you had relates to smart city while you're visiting here in Korea.
This is great. Let's do it. So yesterday,
I know you have so many, right?
Yes. So on a previous trip to Korea, I bought like some little souvenir toy things or whatever. And some of them was like this penguin. I don't know who this penguin is. So there's a new TV show, a Korean TV show in the U.S. I think it's like The Amazing Attorney Woo. Is that right? So I think, yeah. So I think
penguin.
Yeah, no. So Pengsu is
Pengsu, yeah.
part of one of the storylines of this
I see.
TV
Yeah, yeah.
show
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
now
yeah.
on Netflix in the U.S.
Okay.
So also thinking about Korea exporting all of the as a cultural export, right? So we think about not just the BTS and the Blackpink, but thinking about Pengsu. Like this is.
I'm so amazed that you know Pengsu.
Yeah, well, yes. So I bought some Pengsu, and then my wife's watching this Korean TV show that Netflix just released like this week.
I see.
And Pengsu plays like a big role in this legal drama. It's like a whole subtext. I know, it's like all thing. So yesterday, my wife, I'm like gonna go do some shopping, buy some little things for nieces and nephews, and she said, come back with more Pengsu or don't come back at all. And I'm like, all right, okay, better get some more Pengsu. So I go to this store. There's like a toy store near my hotel. I'm at the Solocom right here in Goyang.
Okay.
Super nice place. It's near this water and ski park. There's a giant mall. And there's a toy store across the street. And I walk in, and there's nobody working in the toy store. And I'm like, where are the people?
Okay.
So all there is there's like a kiosk and a bunch of cameras.
Yeah.
And I was amazed. Little children were coming as I'm looking around for Pengsu. Kids are coming in. They're buying stuff. They walk over the kiosk and they walk out. There's no adults there, which is shocking to me.
Really?
We would say, like, if you had this in the U.S., I would expect everything in the store to, we would say, grow feet and walk away. But no. Every kid that came in, they pick something up, they go buy it, they leave, right? And it was just really interesting to see a store without anybody even working in it.
Yeah.
Which was just wild. And it's a kid's store. And I was just, I really, my jaw was just on the floor because kids, I mean, I think it also speaks well to how well-behaved the children in Goyang are.
I know what you mean.
Right, but fortunately, this place also had Pengsu. And so I'm at the checkout, and I'm trying to check out, and I'm having trouble because I can't read Korean.
That's right.
And I'm trying to check out, and a little kid comes over. He must have been like 6 years old, and he had come to buy something, too, from the store without a person working there. And he told me how to check out in English.
Wow.
So I'm like, wow, these are not only the best well-behaved children I've ever seen who are like diligently checking out.
Wow.
They also speak English and can tell me how to check out as well. This is pretty intimidating, I have to tell you, right? So if I think about where I was when I was 6 years old, that's like, wow. Speaking a foreign language to the level of, he's like, yeah, you got to use your card now. No, click that other one. And I'm like, click that other one. Wow. Like, I was just truly impressed. So that's kind of my big smart city realization. Obviously, there's so much going on here. There's so much going on in Seoul. There's a lot going on in lots of parts of Korea. And today we got to see with Vice Minister Lee, we got to see and walk around at the different pavilions hosted by different cities, different regions of the country, see what they're working on. I was interested in what, I'm going to pronounce it wrong perhaps, Jeju Island. That they had like a battery truck, like a huge truck that's a battery that you can come to and charge up your car at it, or if you break down, it can come to you. Or it was very portable. It was a very large battery vehicle. It was very, very interesting because it was just a battery of batteries in the back that allowed people to come up and tank up wherever they were. Yeah. So all of those things, I think, to see it going on across the country, but at an individual level, to see it in my quest to keep my wife happy and buy Pengsu souvenirs, this is pretty amazing. So,
well, the kids, the generation, they're living in different world than when compared to where I have been grown up. From back in that time, they're living in different places, like smart. Everywhere is smart. Smart, right? So they must be smart as well.
I mean, I think that's right. And that's the other reason to be optimistic is young people, they are adapting to this stuff very quickly.
True. So true.
And there are, I think, remote life. I talked about online education, those sorts of things. I think that just is truly critical for unlocking economic value at the next level. People embrace the technology, they learn it, they prepare to learn and learn and learn. We are past the generations where you can only go to school for a few years,
That's
2
right.
years, 4 years, whatever, 6 years, and then you say, okay, I'm never going again. Okay, that will not make you successful, not in the economy of the future.
Not now, yeah.
I wish I could say these are all my own ideas. However,
Yes.
I would say I worked in a consulting firm back in 2007 and 2009. I actually worked for McKinsey. I came in as a senior hire.
Okay.
I was working in the German office, then the Houston office. And we worked remotely in 2007. I remember I worked in an investment bank before I went over to McKinsey, and I wanted a laptop. And it was the third biggest bank in the U.S., and they told me, no, you can't. Only C-suite executives. And I was the chief energy economist of the bank, but I wasn't C-suite. And they were like,
I
sorry,
see.
we can't give you a laptop. And I was 2007. I was like, oh. Later that year, I start working at McKinsey. First day of job, they hand you a laptop like, this is your office. And that was just really interesting because it's a long time ago, right? This isn't like a new idea that we can work remote. It's been around for a while.
True.
You know, the second thing is investing in education. Businesses that really win, they invest a lot in their people. The biggest consulting firms, they invest 10 to 20 grand a year in each of their consultants. Why? Because people expect you to know new stuff. You don't know new stuff if you don't go out and learn new things.
True.
That takes a lot of money, takes a lot of time. I always try to learn new things every year, do new certifications, do new certificates. You know, and that's just what's going to be required going on now. And while we might sit here and go, wow, that sounds like a lot of learning and perpetual learning, perpetual student. Oh my goodness. Yes. I mean, if you want to hit the level of technological advancement we want to get to, it's a lot more people taking a lot more schooling, pushing further and further in their in their human capital potential.
Well, just like you mentioned, the world is changing so fast.
So fast.
But in the meantime, I think the world seems to be in the middle of the chaos as well. Since you know, the wars, the economy and climate change, that's a big issue thing as well. Recessions.
Yeah, and I think these things, this chaos, this is the difference between the headline with the scary stuff that you see at the top of the newspaper, and then there's the trend line. And the headline is, inflation, recession, higher interest rates, Russian war on Ukraine, tensions between China and Taiwan. That's the headline. What's the trend line? The trend line is more technology, more efficient resource utilization, sustainability.
Okay.
Those are the trends. Education unlocking human capital potential. Every business becoming a tech business. Even if you're not in the tech industry, that toy store is certainly not a tech company, but it certainly looks like a tech company, right? And all of that is the trend line. All of us being in the brain business, all of that doesn't go away no matter what's happening with these short-term conflicts and chaos.
I see. But still, some people want to know what do they have to expect for the coming up.
In the short term?
Yeah.
Man, why are you making this such a downer,
Isn't it
Giselle?
hard?
We were having fun. We were talking
Wasn't my
positive
question good enough?
things. We're talking optimism, and you're like, tell me about that recession. Tell me about that inflation.
You know,
Let's
'cause
talk
you were so
sad
famous,
things.
you're such a celebrity that you wrote a few books. That,
of
you know,
course,
I told you I went to some of the bookstore to find your book, but I couldn't buy any of it. So just tell me about it.
You know, I'll tell you a funny story. I gave a talk a couple months ago, and a woman introduced me because some of my books are just about the economy, kind of short-termer stuff. And she said I hadn't written as many books as Stephen King, but some of them were scarier. So, and that's because I was writing about some short-term economic dynamics. And so the inflation, recession risk, that's coming. So I think a couple of things. Number one, interest rates are going up because inflation's high. Central banks are on a war footing. Number two, growth is going to slow. Why? Interest rates are up, so growth slows down when interest rates are up. Three, if the Bank of Korea raises rates slower than the Fed, which seems likely, the Korean won could weaken further against the dollar. It's bad if you want to be a tourist going to the U.S. It's amazing if you're an exporter sending ICT, durable goods, or other products to sell into the U.S. And then the Russian war on Ukraine, I think that's just the opening salvos of what I've been calling Cold War II. I don't think that's going to end anytime soon. I'm concerned about Russia could turn off the gas in the winter, what kind of economic catastrophe that could bring to Europe. But in the longer run, it's just more of an incentive to focus on how do we manage our resources better? How do we foster perceived abundance?
You know, I want to ask more questions, but I don't think you would like it.
You can ask whatever you want. Yeah, I just can't guarantee you'll like the answer, but we go wherever you want with this, Giselle. Let's do it.
Okay.
No, go for it.
Are you writing any other books that are coming up soon?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always working on a few books.
Okay.
So I'm working.
You know, the reason why I'm asking this is that people also wondering about the things that you're writing or you're publishing, but also about you, like who you are. You are the one. How come you are, you have such an idea like that, can give that kind of advice to the people in the world? So,
well, it's very kind. It's kind of an intimidating question. I would just say I think I've spent a lot of time in school and I worked a lot of hours and I keep doing things. So to kind of give you the brief rundown, right? Like I did an undergraduate degree with 2 majors. I've done 3 full master's degrees, part of a 4th one.
Wow.
I've done over a dozen certifications and certificates with letters after my name. And I created my own learning institute, and I have 45 online courses I've created. So, and I've written 36 books. So that's a lot of stuff. So how did I learn stuff? Well, I worked a lot of hours. I dedicated a lot of time to learning about a lot of different things. I haven't stopped. So I'm not just sitting here saying, you should go learn more, you should go learn school, perpetual learning, it'll make you successful. No, if you do that, like I'm talking the talk on this one because I walk the walk on this one. And so I guess that's what I tell you about me. Like I enjoy writing. I'm always working on a few different books. I'm always in process on a couple online courses I'm making. And I just really enjoy generating content, thinking through things, talking to people, and helping others see the patterns in the chaos and be able to make the right decisions by setting the right priorities. And that's what I try to help people do. And I would give you an example. Finance. People ask me a lot about financial markets. What's the most important thing? Yes? All right, we're going to talk about the most important thing, your money. All right, so here it is. I'm going to tell you. Number 1 rule.
Right there,
big secret. That one right there. Big rule.
No, not that one.
That one right there. That one right there. Okay. Big rule. Number 1. Buy low, sell high. That's it.
That's too general.
That's it.
Come on.
Boom. All right. I got another one for you.
That's too general.
No, we'll give you another one. No, like it's a big secret because a lot of people buy low and then it goes up and then they freak out and then they sell
we all know that, but not
I know,
everybody.
but it's difficult to do it, right?
That's right.
The second thing I would tell you is don't invest money you can't afford to lose.
So true.
It's people get themselves, they see things, they stretch too much. It's very comfortable. It's very bad. Gotta be careful. And the third thing is being able to sleep at night is tremendously valuable. And by that I mean if you're making investments and you can't sleep well, they're not worth it. So those are kind of the 3 most important things. Like whatever it is. For me, like I look at financial markets every day. They drive me nuts because I'm watching them all day. I try not to put too much money in financial markets.
I see.
I invest in my own business. I invest in myself. I own real estate. I feel confident about that. Why? Well, they're not making new land. And global population's going up. We talked about the 2 billion more people and the 2.5 billion moving to cities. So that's what I can sleep well at night with that. Some folks I know sleep very well with much riskier portfolios. But I'm looking at markets all day. I have to do what's right for me. I would tell everybody to do the same. And the best investment, and this is the last piece of financial advice, the best investment, honestly, the best investment you can make is in your education or your children's education or a business you control. and own. And the reason is, if you buy something, whatever it is, it might go up in value. That's a one-time. If you invest in your education, you invest in business you own, that's an annuity that generates money year after year. So people are like, what's the best investment you could make other than buy low, sell high? The best investment advice is invest in your education because that turns into monetizable, increased income streams over time.
So we got 4 tips from you.
There you go. You got 4 tips. The last one was a bonus.
Okay, last one was bonus. Wow, you're so kind.
Or maybe we'll throw away the buy low, sell high. Okay. We'll say, all right, it was a joke.
Well, you're very nice. Okay, so Jason, before we end this interview, will you please say a few words those that are putting every effort into their business or anybody working in this field, smart city?
Yeah, look, I would tell y'all to just keep at it. Work hard. I think that if you're in the smart city space, this is going to come together. It's going to take a little while, but there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of interest. There's a lot of capital, and there's a lot of political will behind it. And I would say just keep grinding forward. Hard work pays off, and I encourage you to just keep at it. And good luck.
Well, thank you, Jason. It was very honored to be here with you for about half an hour. And thanks for you saying. And thanks for being here with us in World Smart City Conference. I mean, the Expo.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. All right. So this was by Jason Schenker. And we'll be back soon. Thank you, everyone. 월드 스마트 시티 엑스포 2022
Welcome to World Smart City Expo Korea 2022. We are continuing with a new interview with a new interviewee who is here to represent an award winner in the domestic category. So Smart City Pass application and Bucheon City won this award for their smart city application. So here we have Mr. Im, who is a team leader for smart city at the Bucheon City. First of all, congratulations on winning the award. Thank you very much. And at World Smart City Expo Awards, you won the grand prize. It's very impressive. So can you share with us what your award is about? So in year 2020, the Bucheon city was elected in the Smart City Challenge program, and the Smart City Challenge involves various projects in transportation, safety, and environment. So we are working on various projects. One example, the Smart City Pass app. About 27,000 Bucheon citizens are already using this application. And if I can talk about this application, so there are many urban problems that I just mentioned, and that can be kind of dealt with this application. So this smart city application is to help our Bucheon citizens to address the kind of problems that they might be faced with in the urban environment. It's a great app, and I'm sure that's why you won the award. And when you heard the news that you won the award, what went through your mind? So World Smart City Expo, as you can see here, this is a really largest scale smart city event in the Asia Pacific region. So receiving this award at this kind of prestigious event, that really was kind of a validation for our hard work at Bucheon City. The concept of smart city is actually welcomed by many other municipalities in Korea as well, I'm sure. So what more particular area did your city government pay attention to? First of all, smart infrastructure is really important. So Bucheon City network, or for example, communication network, and also for the entire Bucheon City area, we have a video collection system. So we can collect a lot of videos, visual data, and also we have an AI data center as well. So we have this kind of smart city infrastructure in place. So in that regard, we really take pride in that, and we believe that we are one of the few cities around the world that has this kind of smart city infrastructure in place. So based on this kind of infrastructure, we can provide services such as the application that just won the award, and we want to pursue warm, heartwarming smart city. What do we mean by that? Right now, we are entering the era of the fourth industrial revolution, and various types of smart type services and applications are now being offered, but still there are people who are left out. So in a way, that's a form of discrimination, and we want to address that. So we set up a kind of we set up a certain area or certain with the people. So if people who come to visit this area, this facility, they can be educated about how to utilize smart services. What is your future plan then? Now you won this big award. So what is your future plan to utilize various services, including this application? For this application specifically, it began as a transportation service. So CT Pass app, it has a lot of mobility services and also various personal mobility devices and equipment, or even public transportation are all combined here. So mobility, public transport, and for example, if you utilize various modes of transportation with this application, you can receive a discount. And also, and after that, we want to pursue an eco-friendly city. We want to have a clean urban environment, and in certain parts of our city, illegal waste dumping is an issue. So some citizens, they volunteer to clean their neighborhood. So if somebody takes a picture of that and then send it to us, then we give a reward to such good citizens. And also we have subsidy program linked with the government ministry of land. And yes, I guess this grand prize was really what you really deserve. It's really well deserved. The Smart City for Smart City Expo, Digital Earth and Coming Together is a big theme today. So in that regard, what kind of infrastructure do you plan to build more in the future? Starting 2007, Bucheon City, we been building telecommunication system, and also all network is going to be built to cover the entire city. And through this kind of network, we are going to collect data, and we are now focusing on building the AI data collection center. So based on that, we are going to analyze the data, and we will try to see what kind of needs our citizens have, and then we will try to come up with the right services for them. Before we had this interview, you told me that you are not good at having interviews, but you're a great interviewee. And before we go, do you have any final comments to make? Since we are a kind of city government officer, so it is very rare for me to be interviewed by the media. But this smart city area, the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport, so I'm talking about the central government here. So from the national government's perspective, the smart city is an important agenda, and the local governments and officers working at the local government level, we are still like learning about this concept. So we are working really hard, and but today we received this prestigious award. And also prior, there were many challenges for the local government to address our urban city problems. But with the concept and the technology and solutions of smart city, we can address those issues more effectively. I believe that your hard work, just like it's paid off today with a grand prize, I'm sure your city's future will be brighter based on your hard work. Thank you very much. So I'd like to wrap up the interview here, and hope to see you again with our next interview. Thank you.